staggering 2 billion rand. That's the amount the Special Investigating Unit says has been siphoned from the Tembisa Hospital through what it calls a devastating plunder of public funds. The SIU says it has uncovered 3 coordinated corruption syndicates operating within the hospital's procurement system, fraudulently awarding tenders and manipulating invoices.
We have uncovered, or the investigation has uncovered, up to date, 3 coordinated syndicates responsible for the loss of over 2 billion. And I'd like to acknowledge at this stage, I'll still come back to that, initially when the investigation commenced, at the instance, and at the instance is by referral from the Office of the Premier back in 2022, we had found at that stage that through the whistleblower and one of the many, and the main one that's known, it's Babita Diokran, and may her soul rest in peace. At the time when we commenced, she had flagged suspicious activities of about 850 million. But when the investigation progressed, and as you can see, to date we are mentioning about 2 billion, so it has gone up almost twofold, if not threefold, and the investigation is still ongoing. So this staggering sum of money intended for the provision of health care at the Tembisa Hospital to take care of the most vulnerable was instead ruthlessly siphoned off through a complex web of fraud and corruption, representing an egregious betrayal of the public trust. Today, as I indicated, we are releasing the interim report of the Tembisa Hospital investigation. As I indicated, the release of the interim report is informed by how complex the investigation is and does require further investigation. However, as complex as it is, we have been able to uncover irregularities, fraudulent activities, and corrupt activities by officials and service providers. Just to indicate other instances where really we've been able to uncover similar irregularities, this you may recall in our working relationship with the Minister of Health present here today has enabled us to uncover wrongdoing and corruption in other investigations, such as in the Home Affairs, investigation at the refugee centers and other areas at Home Affairs, where the minister at the time, he was still the Minister of Home Affairs at the time, he had referred the matters to SIU for investigation. The SIU, for the Home Affairs part, as you may know, the investigation is ongoing there. We will again soon be releasing a report related to that investigation. Another investigation, as you may recall, is the investigation into the medical legal, which is so complex, where we released interim report with the Minister of Health in attendance. We are mentioning all of this just so that we draw a parallel, that the complexity of the investigation here at the Tembisa is no different. However, our investigators have really worked hard and dug deep and uncovered this wrath of corruption and maladministration here. Let me also mention that in the Tembisa Hospital, the SIU has worked closely with the Office of the Premier. In September 2022, the Office of the Premier referred matters to the Special Investigating Unit to be investigated. I will return to this at a later stage. That investigation at the time, we did not have a proclamation as yet, but we did what's called in in the SIU Act as a secondment agreement. And substantive findings were made even at that stage, where the Premier, and really we acknowledge that action was taken even at the time. Right. Currently, the SIU is probing allegations relating to the Tembisa Hospital and has to date identified, as I indicated, 3 major syndicates that have appropriated about 2 billion meant for the healthcare at the Tembisa Hospital. An analysis of about 2,207 procurement bundles have revealed serious maladministration and procurement fraud. Key officials from the Department of Health in Gauteng and the Tembisa Hospital are accused of benefiting from corrupt payments that facilitated the irregular payments. And they are not just accused. Evidence has been found that indicates that the officials have been paid corruptly by the service providers. And these service providers have really caused that the officials be involved in money laundering, fraud through fronting, and the use of false supply chain management documents. The investigation currently involves 207 service providers who traded with the Tembisa Hospital under 4,501 purchase orders. So I indicated earlier on that the bundles of 2,207 and 4,501 purchase orders. Each purchase order, the evidence has revealed, is linked to a purported 3-code procurement process, purportedly involving 3 competitive bidders. We're saying purportedly because investigations has actually proved that there was nothing to be purchased, or nothing was purchased. As a result of that, money was actually siphoned. The total value of matters under investigation at the moment, as I indicated, is over 2 billion. These numbers are constantly updated as new companies are identified through ongoing investigations and the flow of funds involving irregularly appointed service providers at the Tembisa Hospital. Now, I'd like to focus on the syndicates that to date we have uncovered. We have uncovered a syndicate that's referred to as the Maumela Syndicate. And we are mentioning this surname Maumela simply because it has already been publicized. There has been an asset forfeiture order that was announced of Maumela Syndicate. So the Maumela Syndicate refers to the syndicate that is linked to Hangwani Morgan Maumela. The SIU is reviewing 1,728 bundles worth 816 million related to the Maumela Syndicate and has completed to date 924 analyses, uncovering significant irregularities. So the SIU has traced about 41 suppliers or service providers linked to this Maumela Syndicate. 3 of the companies that were awarded contracts to the value of 13,538,292 in this syndicate are linked to Vusi Muzi Matlala. So this Vusi Muzi Matlala would have come in as part of the syndicate that, according to our evidence, is really led by this Maumela. Maumela's identified assets amount to around 520 20 million, including luxury vehicles and properties valued at 293 million. Notable properties include about a 75,000 property, a 75 million property in Bantry Bay and various others in Gauteng. The SIU has assisted the National Prosecuting Authority asset forfeiture to identify assets linked to Maumela, which has resulted in the NPA's asset forfeiture unit preserving some of the Maumela's assets. These assets include the following. We're not mentioning sort of all of them, but you can find them in the order that was issued. The property in Hartbeespoort, Northwest, 2 properties in Sandton, Gauteng, property in Zimbali Estate, Balito, Durban, and KwaZulu-Natal, 2 twin tower properties in Cape Town, Western Cape, and some of the motor vehicles include Lamborghini, Urus, Lamborghini Hurricane, Lamborghini Aventador. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. These are some of the vehicles names that is very difficult to announce. And another Lamborghini Urus, Bentley Continental, Isuzu D-Max, a multi-purpose trailer, Badger Fire Blast CC, Regency 250 LE boat. As I indicated, that there are further assets that have been freezed by AFU, but I'm pleased to announce that we really wanted to mention further assets and other vehicles that we would have freezed, but we wanted to make sure that we follow the legal process and institute those proceedings in the special tribunal. We did so. We had hoped for the order at the latest by Friday or at least the weekend. That order came in only this morning at 9 o'clock, where the special tribunal has granted the SIU an order to freeze further assets of Maumela to a tune of 500 million, I'm informed by our legal officials. So we will communicate that order later today, as we always do, and indicate the kind of assets that has been freezed. And remember, we do these freezes as part of ensuring that whenever we have to recover the monies that the department has lost, in particular Tembisa, so that all of these properties can really be liquidated, converted into money that can be sent back into the department. In particular, where we're saying back to the fiscus, but we would like it to be returned really to the Department of Health. There is another syndicate that we've uncovered. We call it Mazibuko Syndicate. This is also the syndicate which is linked to a person called Rudolph Mazibuko. The SIU reviewed, in this case, about 651 bundles, valued at more than 283 million. At the moment, 392 completed analysis revealing assets worth more than 42 million, including multiple properties in the Western Cape and Gauteng. We will continue to indicate and itemize the assets as the investigation goes on. Now there's another syndicate, and we're calling it Syndicate X, simply because it's not in public yet. Work is being done, and we are hoping that we will be able to name this syndicate very soon, once it has gone through the court process. But I can indicate here that the SIU is currently, with regard to this syndicate, assessing 1,237 procurement bundles to the value of more than 596 million linked to this syndicate. An analysis of 646 bundles have revealed numerous procurement fraud and irregularities, and the identification of secondary conduit accounts used to launder funds connected to the Tembisa Hospital, with assets tied to this syndicate valued at approximately more than 150 million. Additionally, SIU has found other smaller syndicates, and we say smaller syndicates simply because of the values related to those. These syndicates are also linked through directorships and financial interactions, revealing ongoing corruption patterns. These syndicates include, and as I indicate, they are not yet in public, Syndicate A, 3 service providers, which we will be naming soon, once the legal process is through. 3 service providers with payments of 9.6 million. Another Syndicate B, 6 service providers with a value of 76 million plus. Syndicate C, 5 service providers who got more than 8 million. Syndicate D, 6 service providers with more than 37 million. Syndicate E, 4 service providers totaling more than 3 million. Syndicate F, 3 service providers linked to 1 director receiving more than 28 million. As I indicated, the investigation is ongoing, continuously revealing new connections and irregularities. I now move to the implicated officials. To date, the SIU evidence has revealed a total value of corrupt payments linked to officials and employees at the Gauteng Department of Health and at the Tembisa Hospital. Those corrupt payments total 122,228,000. This is the money that has been confirmed by evidence that has been paid to the officials. The SIU has identified at least 15 current and former officials involved in activities such as corruption, money laundering, collusion, bid rigging with improperly appointed service providers at Tembisa Hospital. These individuals abused their positions throughout the procurement process to benefit the service providers and enrich themselves. This number of identified officials is expected to rise as the investigation continues. The officials range from entry-level clerks to a lower level management level officials. To date, the SIU has prepared 116 disciplinary referrals against these officials, of which 108 were delivered to the Gauteng Department of Health relating to maladministration, corruption, as well as irregular appointment of service providers at the Tembisa Hospital. There's been one matter that has to date been held back. As I said, the other officials' names may still come up because the investigation is really working hard to link them to the losses. Other officials have already been referred, as I indicated. We have observed that these officials implicated are at a lower level of employment. If you look into the report, in fact, I've asked my colleague to make a list of those officials, but if you look at the report, those officials are itemized. Again, because the matters are not in public, we've mentioned official A, B, but you'll see the official levels. They are at a clerk level, you know, generally at a lower level. But you will really realize that it is at this lower level, particularly at the procurement SCM level, where the most damage is caused. We have observed that they are at the lower levels, and these are the employees who have to date caused more losses to the Tembisa Hospital. As I indicate, we are investigating in other areas. The phenomenon of lower level officials causing more damage has been observed in other investigations. An example I can make is in the Home Affairs investigation, the refugee processing. You know, those lower levels that are processing refugee applications, they are the ones really causing damage. So it is really incumbent as we overhaul and review the system that we look at this lower level processing and what kind of checks and balances can be put and what kind of mitigation measures can be put in place.